What's going on, everyone? It's Josh Elbow. In today's video, I want to go over a couple things. I'm going over in my mentorship group. Going to be talking about EIN numbers, employee tax ID numbers. I want to say is what they are. Forming an LLC or an S corp. We're not really going to go over C corp and the purposes of it. A little bit of sole proprietorship. A little bit about about differences between whether it's an LLC or an LP, which is a limited partnership, and the risks involved there. And then something I've seen way too many people, we'll get into the psychology on the back end of why people take 2 months on a website. Stuff I've seen in the past with working with people that I think you guys will get a kick out of. So stay tuned for that. So an EIN number is just your employee tax ID number. You get that when you file for, let's say for an LLC for your business. The purpose of what I'm getting into, if you're not making money, unless you have an advantage that you're gonna get by filing, I think it's like $200, $275 I paid for mine. I just outsourced it, I didn't have to do anything for it. You can file for less than that. If you file for it yourself, it's like $175 in Michigan, or $80 or some shit. But it's not expensive. But if you don't have any revenue, you don't need to be filing for a fucking employee tax ID number. I've seen, and it kills, maybe you do. So I'm not a tax expert. I'm not a business expert. Let's assume that I know nothing. So anything I say in this video has just been what's worked for me personally. If you haven't made any money with your business or your new hobby, especially this is beginning stages, there's no it's a joke. It's comical to put this stuff in place. In my opinion, I could be completely wrong. With no proof of concept. I've had people bring me business models that they've been working on for anywhere from a week to a year to forever, however long, a couple months, but they have no sales at the end of the day. It's not doing you any good to go and put that cash outlay of money, even though it's only $200. If you haven't even made $1,000, you're starting cash flow negative versus cash flow positive with your business, with your new business. And I think it's people, in my opinion, I think it's people who are trying to play business and who've never maybe, let's say, started or run a real business before. The only thing that matters, and I've said this in other videos too, the only thing that matters when you start a fucking business is getting sales in the door. That's the only thing. You don't need to be hiring employees yet. You need to be hustling and closing sales. And yes, you can set the structure along the way. Every business is different. So but if you're not selling, you're not in business. If you don't have money, cash coming in, you're not in business. It's either a hobby that costs you money or that's about it. So there's no purpose to necessarily file for an LLC. And so let's say after you make $1,000, you can probably wait till you make 10 grand. And if you're going through PayPal, you can wait till you do 20. But when you first start, before you make $1,000, again, I could be completely wrong from the tax side of this. So there's my disclaimer. You don't need, once you make that $1,000 though, then I would say file for the LLC, file for the S corp, file for the partnership, whatever you do. But don't make it sole proprietorship. And I was talking about this with Lucas this morning. The reason, aside from there's credit hacks I'll go over later in the video, the reason that you'd want to file is for your risk. So I would say file for some type of, let's say an LLC, because it's probably the simplest for whatever you're doing, so that your risk, if something happens in the business, let's say for the Airbnb model, if something happens in the Airbnb, they can't come after your personal assets. If you're a sole proprietor, they can. If it's in an LLC, there's more protection. If you have some type of corporation, they can, I believe, and again, I don't know that stuff, but there's more protection of your personal assets. I think they can only go after the company's assets if something were to happen. And if you're a sole proprietor though, and you don't have that stuff formed, then they can go after your personal stuff. Same with if you get into a partnership with somebody, which I might have to share this video with Cam if they're not written partnership. But if you get into a partnership with somebody and it's not a limited partnership, it's just a limited liability corporation. If it's not a limited partnership, and let's say your partner fucks up and they get in trouble, they can come. The person suing them, the litigation stuff, might be able to come after you. So talk to a lawyer about this stuff if you have any more questions, because I'm definitely not a lawyer. But they just for your own protection, once you start making a couple $1,000s, file for the LLC to have in place. And then also the credit hack, the same thing that we did with the personal cards that I went over in the group, you can do the same thing with business cards, except they're way more profitable. So with the I think it took like 3 cards to make $500 cash back in the intro incentive fees that like Chase or Bank of America or Citi or Wells Fargo, whoever has. You spend $500 on the card within the first 3 months, and they give you 150 or 200 back. Chase has 2 that are 150 a piece, so that's 300 there. Bank of America has another one for 200. Citi's got one for 200. Like, there's plenty out there with these incentive fees. But I wouldn't say don't go file for 3 credit cards in the same day. But over time, you can go through it. I'm not a credit expert either. This is just what's worked for me again. But I totally forgot, Chase specifically has 2 out right now that are their business credit cards. They have actually 3, but their business preferred, I think it's like $95 annual fee. So these are no annual fee. The 2 that I'm gonna go over, it's $500. If you want the extra one for $95 annual fee, you make an extra $500. So from a cash standpoint, it makes sense. But when you sign up for these credit cards, if you spend $3,000 per card, so 2 cards, 3,000 a piece, $6,000. In the first 3 months, they'll give you $500 back, cash back per card. So 500 in the first one, 500 in the second one. Same for 500 for the third one. So you can make 1,400 profit just by spending the $9,000. And if you don't have $9,000 in expenses in the next 3 months for your business specifically, because these are business specific cards, there's ways you could just invoice a PayPal thing to yourself, pay it with the credit card, and then pay it yourself back with the money that gets deposited in. PayPal's gonna take 3%, so you might lose what, $30 or something on the on 1,000, so maybe 45-ish on 1,500 or 4,500 or 1,400, but it's free money. So if you have that EIN number, you have to have the EIN number to file for these business credit cards. But if you have that in place, it's super easy to do, and it's free money. And I want to give you guys cash. So that's like $4,200 in free money that I've gone over so far. So I hope you guys are taking advantage of this stuff, because I have. It's been like free cash in my pocket that I don't have to work for is better than sex. Like, there's nothing better than that in my opinion. So hope these videos have been helping. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below in the comments on YouTube. If you're watching in the Facebook group, just leave a comment directly so that everybody can see it. I'll get it answered. This will be going into the Facebook group first. And then if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, click the bell, all that stuff. Like the video if you got value out of it, because I want you guys, like the video and then go actually take fucking action and go get the $1,500 in free money. File for your business and go get the free cash. I'll see everyone in the next video.